What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So today we got some actually pretty good news. It's for Social Security recipients. You are about to see an increase to your benefits. And I want to address what's going on here, why this is so important, and what people are saying at this time. Now, I'm a little bit under the weather, but oh well, life goes on. I'm here to report the news, what's coming out, and how this could potentially impact you. So, just this last week, we got the new CPI report. Inflation went from 4% down to 3%, and everyone's getting excited because that means we're not spending as much money. We have more purchasing power. However, at the same time as inflation goes from 4% to 3%, the worry is that Social Security recipients will not receive as big of a cost of living adjustment. This is COLA for 2024. Well, I want to touch on this because it's a little interesting what's happening at this time, but I'm going to dive into this. I want to read you an article from USA Today. It will explain all the numbers, but first, all I ask is if you enjoy these daily updates, could you do me a favor? Go ahead, hit that like button. It really does help out the channel, and let's get right down to it. Look at this. It says, Social Security recipients finally have something to cheer. The forecast for next year's Social Security increase edged up on Wednesday, even after the government said inflation cooled further in June. Wow, wonder how that works. Well, it says annual inflation in June eased to 3%, down from 4% in May, and off a 40-year high of 9.1% in June 2022. It was also the smallest increase since March 2021, due mostly to a 16.7% decline in energy prices. It says although monthly energy rose 0.6%, food rose 5.7%, but that was down from May's 6.7% annual increase. Shelter, which also includes rent, jumped 7.8%. Over the last 12 months, but it was still lower than May's 8% gain. Okay, so this is the good news, right? What we know is that COLA is estimated at 3% for next year. That's as of right now, okay? This is according to the Senior Citizens League. It says that's much less than the 4-decade high of 8.7% that Social Security recipients are currently receiving in 2023. However, last month, okay, it was at 2.7%. So right now, okay, just to give you an idea, we went from 2.7% last month to now Social Security recipients are expected to get 3%. That's actually pretty good. It's only a 0.3% increase, but it is something. This is the reason why this is good news. Just because the cost of living adjustment, okay, is going up does not mean that inflation is going up, okay? You gotta keep in mind, and in this article it talks about how the cost of living adjustment is calculated. I'm gonna read through that really quick. Just give you an idea, all right? It says, how is COLA calculated? It says Social Security Administration bases COLA each year on average annual increases in the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers. This is the CPI-W from July through September. This is just the third quarter, okay? CPI-W largely reflects the broad CPI that the Labor Department releases each month, but differs slightly. Okay, this is big. It says last month, while annual CPI rose by 3%, CPI-W increased 2.3%. Okay? It says the Senior Citizens League uses the most recent inflation data to keep a running projection of what COLA might be next year. Okay. So, the CPI report, it says inflation rose by 3%. CPI-W says, no, it only increased by 2.3%. This is the reason why it matters, because the CPI report and CPI-W, CPI is the whole report, and CPI-W is just a certain subset of different things, okay? Now, this is the reason why it matters, because in the CPI-W, they use that certain subset, and that's what the cost of living adjustment is going off of. So just because we see that inflation's going down doesn't necessarily mean that your cost of living adjustment is going to fall right alongside with it. Now it could, okay? Just to be clear, it could. Doesn't mean it will, all right? So where does that take us, okay? Well, here's the thing. We know the cost of living adjustment for 2024 is going to be much less than the 8.7% we're getting now. That's just something that we've all come to anticipate. Now, here's the problem. We need to see the CPI report come down even more. We need to see inflation pretty much go away. And according to many economists, they say that inflation is going to be right around that 2% mark by the end of 2023. That will be good. But we need to see it stay consistent at 2% or less. All right? If we don't, and this is the reason why we need to see it be consistent, the Fed is likely going to raise rates at least one or two more times. That is going to cause inflation to come down even more. But here's the problem. If the Fed pauses and then they decide to start cutting rates, we could see inflation go up. And for Social Security recipients, your cost of living adjustment is only based off of the third quarter. Okay? That's July, August, September. Those 3 months. If we see your cost of living adjustment get set, let's say 2.7 or 3%, okay, 3% is the current expectation. And then we see in, let's say, October, November, December, we see the inflation report come in, and now we got inflation at 3.5, 4, 5%, who knows, right? Because now the Fed is actually pausing rates, or what they could do in the beginning of 2024, start to lower rates, which would cause additional inflation. If we see that at the same time that your cost of living adjustment has been locked in, well, that means you will actually be getting less money than what inflation actually is. And that's the one worry that we need to keep in mind, because we need to stay away from that. All right? So that's what I got for you guys today. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you did, do me a favor, go ahead, hit that like button. If you have any questions whatsoever, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. But again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing. I'll see you guys on the next one.